morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, and welcome back to Let's Talk Politics Live. I'm your host, Dr. James Dula, and our co host, as always, is the infamous Mr. John, as we call him, Doc Bailey. He is a community leader, he is an entrepreneur, and he is a person that just gets things done throughout our entire community. So, welcome, Mr. Bailey. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you? How are you feeling today?
Uh, Doing great, doing great. I'm just so happy to be back with you and our production crew of Crystal and Tara.
Absolutely, absolutely. A phenomenal team, and we've been working with them for years, and they have never failed us yet.
Never failed us. Just absolutely great, fantastic producers who are doing things from coast to coast now. So I'm just going to throw
Yeah,
out a little pitch. If anyone would like to contact them to do services for their business, they really need to reach out through this address. And at the same time, we have a great show today, Mr. Bailey. We've got,
absolutely, absolutely.
we've got Dr. Remy Duyele, who is an entrepreneur, a government leader, a community leader, a college professor, a nonprofit president of our own nonprofit, just
Yes,
doing absolutely great things. And at the same time, we have another entrepreneur from the community, and that's Miss Kim Latimer. And I'm going to tell you, she's really got a great facility in Prince George's County.
indeed, indeed. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. This has been a newsworthy week, also, Mr. Bailey. I'm sure that we'll get into at the end of our program as we start looking at some of the things that's happening around our neck of the woods and throughout the region, especially when it comes to youth and curfews. And
Yes,
also, yeah, and also, yeah, we had a passing of the Queen of England.
yes,
A lot of
yeah.
people are mourning that.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was a reign of 70 years. Amazing, amazing reign. And I'm sure they have a lot. Those are some big shoes to fill for someone that can reign for that long and do have all the accomplishments that she had.
Yeah, she seemed to have been a gracious leader, having met so many people and presidents throughout from the United States, and I think that's what the people look for, that humble mentality when it comes to our royal leaders as well as our elected leaders. You know, in our country, and we talked about it last week. We were raising the point that we are a republic.
Yes,
Mhm. And in a
yes,
republic, we were talking about the fact that we elect our representatives, and well, after we elect them, we get what we get.
that's true. That's true. We have to do our research.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's part of our conversation today. It's very important to understand civics, and that's why we need to have a civics 101 on a consistent basis, just to make sure that everybody is on point and know what they need to research and know how to research those things.
Well, you've been a leader in that area, Mr. Bailey, and I'm happy to say that I've known you doing those many years, and we've been through many campaigns together. And
Yes,
we always give the message that people need to know who they're voting for.
absolutely,
You know, it's
absolutely.
more than a smile. It's more than a smile. It's more than a visit in my school. It's more than a came to my church.
Right.
Elect. When we talk about a republic, and and we talk about how we move forward, we always ask the question: Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And if you ask you that question and you can't answer it and say yes, then maybe you need to go back and look at how you're doing business. Don't keep voting for the same people and then complaining about the same issues the next day.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all, and we have to understand those that we elect. We have to hold them accountable for what we need in the community. And if they don't have a track record or they're not working with the community on a at least a weekly or monthly basis and meeting with the community, we have to really try to understand why are you in office? What's your purpose? What's your end game? What's the goal here, right? So we have to communicate with the community on a consistent basis to make sure that we all are on the same page and we are holding them accountable and communicating with them, calling them, emailing, and giving our issues of what they're doing and what they're not doing.
That is so true. That is so true. So it's important that we look at the background of those that's running, as well as listening to their top 3 to 5 platform issues. It's one thing to come out and say public safety, schools, education, all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
no, that's just the tip of the iceberg. How would you change what you're seeing today to be a more positive influence in our community?
absolutely. What's your strategy? What's your strategy? What have you watched? And what do you think that you can change in the process? And, just like I always say, I like to see those that have been in the community, right?
Mhm.
Because we're out here in the community daily, weekly. And if we haven't seen you in the community, we really have to study you and see what your process has been to get to where you are and what your end game is, what your goals are coming into politics. Because there are quite a few folks out here that run alongside each other. We are side by side running in the community, and if we haven't seen you, we need to see what the process is, and at least help you if you have a golden heart for our community.
That's true. And, we want to see more women get involved in the election process and running for office. And that's one reason why I applaud Ms. Dr. Dulule, who is going to be our guest today, who ran for the House of Delegates. She
Yeah,
threw her hat in the ring, ran a great race, came up a little short, but
yeah,
she was actively involved. And she's not one of those people that's an election day candidate.
no,
She is
she's not.
someone that's in the community all the time, advocating for what is right, and then trying to do something about it, coming up with ideas and recommendations.
Absolutely, absolutely. She's an intelligent woman, and it was no different during the campaign. It was no different because we have seen her for years doing the same thing. So she kept in stride of what she's been doing for years during the campaign and being at all of the events and holding her own events as well. So it was no different, and I love that. I love to see that.
Mhm. And another subject, we need to be educated as a people because many don't understand there's really 3 branches of government, and that each one has equal power, and they work as checks and balances. For example, when we look at the United States, we have an executive branch of the president, we have a legislative branch in the Congress, which is made up of the Senate and the House of Delegates, and we have a judicial branch with the Supreme Court and the courts. At the local level, we have a county executive. We have
Yeah,
a who recommends laws and recommends the budget. We have a county council that determines the laws, determines the budget, and
the
we have
legislature. Yep.
a court system that and all they do is look at the constitutionality of things and make sure that justice is maintained under the court system. So when our citizens go to to their elected official for any issue, they need to make sure that they're going to the right level. You don't go to the county executive per se to fix your 495 or the major uh, highways that's ran by the federal government or the state. You
Yep.
need to know which street is belongs to the county, which belongs to the state, and we see those issues all the time.
Yes, often, often. We have to educate ourselves as much as things change and also educate our neighbors. It's why not have a conversation with your neighbor that's down the street that you see watering the grass and see if they understand the process because a lot of people uh, continue to complain, but it's time to do something about it. It's time to educate yourself so you can make a difference in your community. We can start on your block, and then go to your neighborhood, and then step it up to a different level and help out as much as you can.
Well, you were a very, very noteworthy and exceptional civic association leader, and I was a civic association leader, and we work in joining communities, and
Absolutely.
this is one thing that people need to understand. In your community and my community, we were both presidents, but we said, what affects one affects the other, so let's work together jointly to address these issues and to educate people on their civic responsibility to vote, to know who they're voting for, and to get involved with their executive level, their legislative level, and the court system as much as needed, so that they can affect the changes in the community they want to see.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was a wonderful time being a leader in this community in Camp Springs. And right next door is Clinton, where Dr. Dula led the Civic Association there. You do have to work in tandem out here, because a lot of things you deal with the same things we're dealing with. We have to work on the same processes. And just like with crime doesn't go away, it moves. So whatever's happening here and we move it out is going to go next door to our next neighborhood, which will be Clinton. And we have to move it around and work with the community and the police department to make sure that we can bring it down. Absolutely. So
That's right. That's
as
right.
we go into our break, we'll come right on back and see you guys in just a sec.
Are you looking for a safe, supportive environment that will encourage and empower your child to reach their full potential, especially during this pandemic? UNI DMV provides enriching out-of-school support services and activities that build academic and social skills for 7 to 18-year-olds residing in the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia communities. UNI DMV has been mentoring the youth since August 2010. For information on upcoming events and programs, visit us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/UNIDMV.
Wow Radio, keeping a firm grip on the community. We handle today's issues for tomorrow's successes. Wow Radio.
I was deep into the minds of a king, man who once was in love.
Dr. Dule, we have grown to know you as a business leader, college professor, and civics leader dedicated to serving the community. You have also served as the first continental African born on the board of directors for the Prince George's Chamber of Commerce. Such an impressive record of service. Thank you. So thank you for joining us today. I want to ask you a few questions. And the first one is, what do you see as your purpose in life today?
Thank you so very much for the opportunity to be on this platform. I do not take it for granted. It's an honor to be amongst greatness, to talk about what is important to all of us. Of course, my purpose has not changed. That purpose remains the same and even stronger, to be that impact-driven leader with results, with the ability to ensure that we have intentional inclusion in all that we do, whether it be in the county, in the state, in the country, or in the world. That is my sole purpose, to ensure that we live better and we give hope to others to live.
Moving forward, if you have a brand new program called the Bridge to Freedom, tell us what that program is.
Absolutely. Bridge to Freedom is a program that was birthed many months ago in quest of just what I described, creating platforms with intentional opportunities for people who are just human beings without any criteria, giving them the hope, giving them a platform where they can learn some of my stories and some of other people's stories. They can learn some of the expertise that we have, and sharing and caring, inspiring others to live full and to live better for their own purpose. Absolutely. Bridge to Freedom will be really fun. I'm excited, and the team is excited. We are going to have forums in webinars, trainings, podcasts, and just so many varied ways that we know that people can get the message. Storytelling, speaking, mentorship, you name it. because it's a way of life. Bridge to Freedom is a way of life. It's not just a program for the sake of a program. It's an intentional program with an expected results attached to the beginning. So we're going to have it in varied forms, and with the research we've done, people want it in those varied forms. So we're excited and looking forward to kicking it off soon.
Wonderful. What have the most difficult obstacles been for you to overcome?
Thank you for that question. Once upon a time, I was in corporate America, and being brand new in the country, I had to deal with 4 strikes in corporate America, despite the fact that I went in at a very humble beginning with an MBA, started as a teller, rose as a vice president. But there were 4 strikes that stuck in the faces of people for whatever reason, being Black, female, Nigerian accent. And as you can see, that has not changed, nor do I want it to change. I always say that because your strikes won't be the same as mine. But life is full of strikes. But mine, what I did with mine was I embraced it. And I used it as a stepping stool to even build a better Remy, a better me that can serve the world. I didn't take it as negative. Yeah. I embraced it and I worked at it to be the best version of myself that can serve the world as I'm doing now.
So you use your 4 strikes and you claim them as your authentic self because that's who you are.
Yes, you know how I'm big on authenticity, and that is my unique value proposition to the world, and that's what I've been using. And to me, your strikes won't be the same as mine, but clearly speaking, own it, embrace it, walk at it. That's going to be your best selling tool to the world.
Following your recent campaign to be elected to the House of Delegates, what are your huge current goals?
My goals as a nonprofit operator for 17 years, still counting, and serial entrepreneur has not changed. The goals remain the same. Human capital development is very key to me personally. It's deep in my heart because I know that everybody deserves to be trained, to have an experience and exposure that can give them hope to live full and die empty, just like I want to be. That will not change. It will just get more intensified through programs like the Bridge to Freedom, through Legacy Premier Foundation, partnerships and things that we're doing in the community. And the second one is social impact. As someone that knows that you can't do it all by yourself, but it's that village concept of creating programs that are intentional enough to create impact. Thinking about the impact before the programs. That's going to be what distinguishes us. And we've been doing it through Legacy Premier Foundation, but we're going to do it more, better, and bigger, and have results to show for it by the grace of God.
What would you like people to know about you?
I am an open book individual. My life is transparent, has been open book, because I believe in your life speaking who you are versus you talking about who you are. So for someone who is transparent, who is open, who shares my successes, who shares my failures, I'm going to continue to do that. And I encourage all of us to own our authenticity, just like I've owned mine. That has distinguished me, and that has also helped me to be that confident individual. Because confidence is about what you carry when you know and you know that you know. And you're constantly striving to know better and know more. So for me as Remy Duyele, what I would like people to do, embrace your authentic self. If you don't know what it is, find it. Once you embrace it, because you can only be, there's no counterfeit in any human being. You're only going to have one of you, and let that one of you be the best. So I tell listeners to just embrace yourself. People want that uniqueness in you. Don't try to be like anybody else. Just try to be your best version of you. And that's what I want people to remember me for, and to know that I'm clearly impact driven. My whole life purpose is to impact and see results, because I know it works. I've worked it. I lean on shoulders right now of people like you, Dr. Dula, and many, many more great men and women. I want people to lean on my shoulders So you shouldn't want people to lean on your shoulder. That's the way we can make the world a better place. And that's what I want people to remember me for, that I'm that impact-driven leader with intentional results for good of all.
Well, thank you so much. I have enjoyed this sit down, and thank you for agreeing to sit down with us. We definitely appreciate you coming on Let's Talk Politics Live with Dr. James Dula, and we will have you back soon. And thank you for serving the community.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited.
We're back, so let's continue where we left off. I was going to say, Mr. Bailey, that uh, with our partnership working between communities, I know that we're both Du Boisians,
Yes.
and we often talking about working together. But the phrase that he said in his works was that one can do a lot, but two can do much more. And
Indeed.
that really captured my attention when I first read it. I think it was in the Souls of Black Folk, and I've never forgotten it. So it's always been a pleasure to work with you and our civic associations, and with
Yes.
the great people that make up those civic associations. But
Absolutely.
now, but now our task is, how do we teach them about civics?
Indeed. Indeed. And that's a constant thing that we're going to have to do, especially during this time. We're still in the political season, and a lot of people need to know how to navigate, especially in November, what to do, how to do it. And as civic association and as community leaders, we have always expressed and brought the candidates in front of our uh, communities. We don't endorse, and that's something that we stick by. However, we do introduce and put the candidates in front of the community face to face, so you can see what's in their eyes and in their souls, and see their plans and their what they want to do for the community truly, and they can express that during those times.
And in November we have a very big election coming up. I'm telling people, vote for your choice. But at the same time, it's very important that we have a larger number, or a larger percentage of people going out to vote, to show that we really care about our state, and how we're moving forward. And so that means that everyone who is eligible uh, to vote should get out and do so, because if you don't vote, as the old folks used to say, and I guess that's me now, uh, it used to say, if you don't vote, don't complain. I remember President Obama saying, don't complain, vote.
Right.
So we have to impress upon our people the fact that the only way that their voice is going to be realized is to get out to ballot boxes in November and cast their vote for who they think is best. But look at the issues. Are the issues that they are professing, we call it their platform,
Mhm.
are they in line with your sense of reasoning? Are they in
Right.
line with where you want to be, where you want to go? Who are they aligning with? Who are they aligning with that has a proven track record one way or another? Who are they
Yes.
aligning with, and who are they standing on the shoulders upon as they move forward? So we need to look at all those things: platforms, issues, supporters, all those things when we get in that, so that when we get to that ballot box, we know who we're voting for, and 4 years later you can say, yes, we're better off now than we were 4 years ago.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one thing I stress to them, that you have to focus on our seniors and our youth, and that goes along with the organization, with the nonprofit organization that I'm running as well. Something that I do with my family, and I may have I'll continue to say this because I believe it's very important for us to understand and study as a family. Whoever's in your household who's eligible to vote, what I do is I get the ballot that the county submits, right? The official ballot, and go over that with, and we study. We look up on the internet, look at some of their platforms, their websites, things of that sort, and we give our opinion. A lot of times, I may have met them personally, but that we're not going to go just on that. We're going to go as a family and study and see what they've done, what their strategy is, what their platform is, and make the right choice. Are they here for the people? Do we hear what we want to hear and what we will do as a family out here? So yeah, we have to engage and continuously uh, teach politics and civics and in all things alike.
And I would encourage people, if they would like to have a little bit more in-depth idea of what we're talking about, please go to the Wow Radio site and take a look at the recent civic essay that was posted on the site. And we'll be doing this routinely. So I encourage them to go to that site, www.uradio.net/ let's talk politics, and take a look at the essays we write, because there's a lot of thought that we put into those before we publish them. It's a team effort. And again, as we said last week, in our republic where we elect our representatives, we must know government. We must know who we're voting for. And we must remember that it takes all of us to keep this nation functioning. But at the same time, we mentioned the fact that John F. Kennedy said when he was president, ask not what your country can do for you. But we turned it around and said, ask not what your country can do for you. Just get out and do it. It's one thing
Absolutely.
to talk about it, but it's another thing to get out and what the kids say. It's one thing to get out and be about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And thank you. We're here for a break, and we'll come right back with our business spotlight right after these messages.
Indie for your mind, indie for your spirit. It's Wild Radio, so you know you're gonna hear it. Whether you like to spit it or you just wanna feel it. Forever indie, baby, and you know we got the spirit. Indie for your mind, indie for your spirit. Indie for your mind, indie for your spirit. Indie for your mind, indie for your spirit. Indie media for the indie spirit on Wild Radio.
OG Media Productions is a visual production company focused on making its clients' visions visible. They provide graphic design, photography, video production, and live streaming. These days, they are looking to work with clients that have vision for their project. Let OG Media take your vision to your audience. Visit their website at www.ogmediaproductions.com and follow them on IG at TeamOGMP. They're passionate about putting their skills and innovation to work for you.
Politics with Dr. Dula. Did you catch that? Welcome back. Welcome back to Let's Talk Politics with Dr. Dula. And my name is John Bailey, and we are going to look at an event that's coming up in our community on the 17th of September, 2022. And it's a shred day. Many of you may know that it's hard to get rid of your delicate documents in your home, your very sensitive documents. So we do this in the community. We've been doing it for quite a while in the community, giving this opportunity to bring your documents and actually see them destroyed in person. So we have a truck coming out to Central Baptist Church of Camp Springs at 5600 Old Branch Avenue in Camp Springs. And that's going to be this Saturday, the 17th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So please come out. You'll see the flyer on the screen here. If you have any questions, there's a phone number here, and we'll see you soon. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Now we're back with the business spotlight with Kim Latimer, Beyond Four Walls. Welcome, Kim.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, with this great opportunity in the community, you want to give us a little background and overview of what you have for us in the community now?
Yes, so Beyond Four Walls was actually birthed out of God just blessing me and just dropping in my spirit. I always used to want to own like an Airbnb, even though Beyond Four Walls is not really an Airbnb, it's a multi-purpose facility.
Hmm.
It's basically a 10,000 square foot home, which most people say it's a mini mansion. But because God has blessed me so much, I decided to open up my doors and allow other people to come stay because of the peace, the tranquility for the people in the DMV area. It's more of a staycation. For people outside of the area, it's more of a vacation. And I host many different events from people to have weddings to board like meetings. I have political things that are held here. It's just a multifaceted of things. And I also bring everything here. It's like an all inclusive facility. I bring masseuse here, I bring makeup artists, I bring chefs. So I'm just excited about what God has birthed out of this situation. And I'm just excited, and I thank you all for the opportunity for allowing me to kind of pretty much talk about my property on this platform.
Well, absolutely. You're absolutely welcome. And we recognize business owners who are doing something special in our community. I love what you said, wellness, and we have to focus a lot on our mental health right now. We've gone through one of the most traumatic things, which is the pandemic. We're still in it. It looks like we may be fading out of it a little bit, but it's still in effect. But we need opportunities like this to get your mental health intact, to go get a massage, to rent the place out, to just to get away from the rat race of everyday living. Can be stressful, and when you have an opportunity like that, we have to spotlight that. We certainly thank you for bringing that to our community. And how long has the have you been in the location? Where are you located?
Actually, I'm in Clinton, Maryland. The facility has been here for 8 years. However, I just opened it about a little over maybe 60 some days, maybe 70 days ago.
Right.
Um, so it's more of a retreat center. Like I said, it's a multi-purpose facility. However, a lot of people do come just to stay, like a vacation rental.
Yeah. Right.
So, yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And you open it up to the community. I hear you say you have meetings. You let folks have meetings there. You have events there, weddings. That's a beautiful thing that we can do right in our own community. We don't have to travel miles and miles away. That's something great down here in Southern Maryland. Absolutely. So we certainly appreciate you on that. Um, is there anything else that you want to say about or promote that, or what else is going on in there? Anything specific coming up?
Actually, a lot of events and entertainers also stay here. Um,
Okay.
so I've been really blessed to network with a lot of group of people, from people, when I say the entertainment industry, as far as they'll come into the DMV area and have shows, but they want to kind of have an exclusive area so
Yeah,
that they kind of get away. Um, and it's a little luxurious, I
I
must say.
see.
I'm proud of saying that. But yeah, it's like I said, people use it for so many different reasons, and it's a multifaceted facility. So it's not like one shoe fits all. So
Right.
that's why I'm really blessed about having it. Baby showers. I have, event planners that network with me so that, say for instance, a repast and family, people want to host a whole list of, say at least 14 members in up under one household versus going to the hotel. So
Right.
I do
Right.
a lot like that. So, but it's some people have had, like, did a young lady about a month ago, her 29th birthday party, and was just a bunch of youth. I would say youth because youth compared to my age, but a bunch of mid-age young individuals that just had a ball for her birthday,
Right.
and birthday events, all different type of events. So
All right. All right. Thank you so much. We're going to put your information back on the screen so people can contact and come out and visit your location. It's a beautiful location. Please support our small Black businesses in our area. And if you haven't, if you missed the spotlight last week, and this spotlight will be on let's talk politics show page, as well as the Wild Radio page, and that information will be up on the screen shortly. Please go there and check out the past spotlights of business, as well as this one if you missed this segment live. And thank you so much, Kim, for coming out and expressing what you brought to our community. And we thank you a lot. And good luck on everything in the future.
thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Let me say this.
As we
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
The site that Ms. Latimer has is absolutely beautiful. It is gorgeous. When you walk in, it looks like you're walking to a grand hotel. I mean, it
Yes.
is as we say in the community, it is laid out.
Yes.
So everyone that sees this broadcast must call her and take the opportunity to go visit and recommend it to others. That's what we want to do in our community, and to make sure that people are aware of what we have to offer in this most affluent county that we live in. And I will say that it is the most progressive and the most dynamic county in all of the Eastern Seaboard, and one of the most progressive in the United States of America. So, Mr. Bailey, you and I talk about this all the time. We try to lead by example. When right now we're going to try to lead people to Prince George's County and let them know that how great the people and the resources are. You believe me?
Absolutely, indeed, indeed. And one thing we left off from Beyond Four Walls and Miss Kim, she's veteran
Veteran.
owned, Black owned, woman owned. So she has accreditations that we all need. So definitely go out and visit and stay there and come to some of the events. Absolutely, thank you. So yes, indeed, Dr. Dula, we absolutely are in that realm right now. So to get back to the subject line of civics, um, you wanna start it off and get back to
I think we got a break coming up, but
yeah.
until we get to that point, we can give a lead in by saying, it was Dr. Du Bois who said it is the duty of the Negro to raise himself by every effort to the standards of modern civilization and not to lower them in any degree. You hear what I'm saying? To raise ourselves, not to
Yes.
lower ourselves in any degree. And as we
Yeah.
continue to talk about civics, that means that we have to educate our children on our history, educate them on our community, educate them on who we are as a people. And when I say a people, I'm talking about everyone, every American, every person of color. Educate them on who we are, where we came from, so they will have pride in themselves. If we teach them to have pride in themselves, I'm sure that they will also have pride in going to that ballot box and participating, because they know that the future is in their hands.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I believe that would help curb some of the some of the negative things that are going on in our community. If our youngsters, if our younger people understand who they are, where they come from, and really get a deep dive into that. We've gotten away from some of the elders teaching, and I believe that is very necessary, and that's why this platform is so necessary. We're coming from a elder state and expressing what we've been through, what we're going through, and we can guide and lead our younger generations into where they need to go. And all right, so we're going to head over to a special announcement, and we'll be right back after this break.
Hey guys, this is Ty Flood, founder of the Awesome Women of Empowerment Group, also known as the AW Group. And the AW Group is a mental health organization and support group geared towards providing various resources, wellness programs, and encouragement to women and families who are living with a mental health condition. Connect with us by visiting theawgroup.org or follow us on Instagram or Facebook under @theawgroup. That's THEAWE Group. Did you know that BWCC is now streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio? Yep, that's right. Go to any of these platforms and search Black Women Connecting Communities. That's Black Women Connecting, CONNEXTING Communities. Follow us and add us to your list of favorite podcasts. On behalf of the WOW Radio, Only Greatness Media Production, and your co-host, John Bailey, we would like to wish you a happy birthday, Dr. Dula. So now back to our regular program, and let's talk politics with Dr. James Dula and co-host John Bailey.
Appreciated and certainly unexpected. So, so I would like to thank each of you for that birthday shout out. You know, I was listening today following the death of the Queen of England, and as I was looking at the similarities, because I'm always looking at things and studying, and looking to see, truth and the dynamics behind anything. And I know the world is mourning, and we as a nation, we don't take a national leader's death lightly either. So we would certainly, as a community, send a shout out to the family, and at this time when they're suffering the loss of their mother and matriarch. Now, on the other side of the coin, right here in Prince George's County, we too as a people have to think about our future, where we've come from and where we're going. And I labeled in something called the X factor. When Malcolm X was alive, he announced the X factor as being not knowing where we came from. And not knowing where we came from, I often wonder sometimes, if we knew our history, might we be kings and queens? Might we be the princesses and the prince and so forth and so on? But we don't know. So that's why, as I looked at the preceding events over in England, I felt what they were going through, because I too have lost a parent. But at the same time, I said, I wonder who we are. I wonder what our history would be. Wonder what we would be like if we hadn't endured that period of slavery. I wonder where our kings and queens would be at right now. I wonder what our children would be like. But the fact is, we did go through slavery. And
Right.
I'm on this history teaching thing. I'm a former college professor and history teacher. And I taught African American studies, and to me, our history is deeply connected to who we are today. Because as you and I have said, Mr. Bailey, many times, and I was in an event last night, And someone pulled me aside and said, Dr. Dula, if we know where we came from, we would have a better idea of where we're going. And so I thought about the X factor. We don't know. We don't, we haven't had a chance to study about the great kings of Mali, like Mansa
Musa.
Abubakar,
Yeah.
and who was the brother of Mansa Musa
Right.
of Mali. It is documented that
Yes.
Mansa means king, by the way.
Right.
Mansa Abubakar uh, traveled to the shores of America 200 years before Columbus. Look it up; it's there. Our people don't know that. All we know is we have a holiday, Columbus Day, who discovered America. We need to get back to teaching the truth about history. We
Indeed.
need to teach the truth about those who walked on their shores at specific times in history, and teach the truth about how we as a people had to be the strongest of the strong to endure the many hardships that was placed before us as this nation grew into the mighty nation it is today. So I call it the X factor. And each time we have this program, I think it's important that we not only talk about what's happening in America today, we talk about some kind of historical fact that led us to be the people we are today. The great nation we always hear about. Often we
Right.
hear about let's make America great again. In my book, it's a great country. It has been a great country, and my people helped contribute to the greatness. We served in wars, we served on the fronts in many ways, and I'm
Indeed.
happy to say that I'm part of that generation of the '60s, known as the Civil Rights generation, that gave birth to the future teachers and educators and doctors and skilled plumbers and construction workers and engineers and people that are doing great things. So we need to get back to talking about our history and putting that pride back into our community so that Generation Z will know who they are, that Generation X will know where they came from, and that the civil rights generation continues to lead in their elder years at the front of the pack versus the back of the pack. And my word here today is know your civics, know your history. Get out and vote in November. Let's make sure that the face of America is going forward because we're part of it. So we're not going to ask what our country can do for us. We're just going to get out and do it. What do you think
Uh,
about that, Mr. Bailey?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I certainly agree. And we have to continue to teach our youth and our young people so we can have a better future for ourselves. They will be leading in a few years us, and we have to prepare them. We can't always complain about what the school system is teaching, or the lack thereof, or what they're not getting there. We have to do that on our own. We have to have our own curriculum at your house. Teach your own children. We can't think that those school buildings were originally years ago, decades ago, centuries ago, built for that culture, and you think they're going to change the curriculum for you. No, you have to change your curriculum at home and teach from home, from the base. So when they're waking up and going to school, you teach them something. When they come home and they have to do homework, you also teach them some history. So that falls on us as well. So we have to take the blame and change the blame. We have to change it around and start teaching more civics, history, and everything above from A to Z. Our children have to learn from us first.
And I loved exactly what you said in the home. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say this. I can see T-shirts right now that says something like "Wow in the home" or "Wow know your history" or "Wow know your civics." Wow,
Right.
get involved. We need to wow the X factor. You make the difference. I can see T-shirts and hats and things. That's what we need. We need our
Yes.
entrepreneurs to step up to the plate to come up with these ideas. Wow, wow. Uh, know your politics. Wow, come up with these phrases and then get the interfaith community involved so they preach and teach those things where people live in their community and they worship. That's what we did in the '60s. It made a difference. We were civic minded, and we need to get back. Civic minded means you're involved in the politics and the social realm of your community. We need to
Indeed.
get back into that civic minded way of thinking where we're involved. That brings us to another topic. We've been talking about curfew all week. I don't Uh, I believe in the curfew. It's only for 30 days at this point. Our county executive is putting in place to curb crime. But I have to ask myself, where was my daughter at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning? And I
Right.
asked Mr. Bailey, where were your daughters at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning? And I asked our producers, where were your children at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning? Where were you at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning? My grandmother and my grandfather and my father used to say, there's nothing in the street for you after 11 o'clock. You better be home. And I was probably 18 years old. but but the point is that the curfew is one part
Right.
of addressing the crime that we're seeing from our teenagers, 13, 14, and 15, today in our society. And I have to ask myself, parent, where are you? Where are you? Are you not doing bed checks? Are you not telling that young lady or that young man, if you're not in this house when the light comes on outside, you're going to lose your phone privileges. You're going to get TV privileges. You're going to have an issue with me as your parent. And hey, look, fear God, fear the parent.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself, where is that fear for the parent? Where are the parents in the lives of those children? And I saw in the Washington Post today, it was talking about a child, 17 years old, said for the county exec made that decision, she should have checked with us. Why would you go back and check with the children about a law that you're going to put into place to affect the children?
Right.
Now, see, that's old school thinking. I'm in my 70s now. Thank you for that birthday shout out again. But I looked at TV today and I said, the Queen was born in 1926. My father was born in 1926. The King gave birth in 1949 to Charles.
Yeah.
My father gave birth to me in 1949.
Mm.
My father passed at 96 years old. Passed at the same time like his mother. The Queen passed at 96 years old. So a lot of similarities, and I had to sit back and
Right.
think, and that's why I wrote the essay this morning. And I'm not going to read online, but it was talking about we have to know who we are, where we're going, and things of that nature. But from a civic standpoint, and all the things I just said, our history has been one of discipline. We have had to be very disciplined to get where we're at, and our parents have been always been instrumental in our lives. Their word was the golden rule. Whatever they said went, and it does worry me that we're seeing all the crime we're seeing out in the community today happening at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning by children. So I applaud the county executive's initial effort, but we also know that you got law enforcement and the court system, the communities, the parents, the civic associations, all involved in this transformation we have to make. What do you think, Mr. Co-host?
I do agree that what we've been doing hasn't been working. We have to make some changes. So whatever the changes that the county executive puts forth, and her team, she has a strong, intelligent team behind her. Um, I believe that it's a great effort to figure out. So we're going to try this. If this doesn't work, we're going to try something else. If it does work, we'll continue the process. I just think that we need to put some other things on the table to try to figure this thing out and stop just letting it complaining and watching it happen. And that's what we're doing. We're watching the news and seeing these things transpire, and it's amazing to watch. And but the thing about it, what's the strategy to curb it, right? What are we going to do? And I'm glad because I know you're on the county executives team, and you all are coming up with plans of what we're going to do as a community. But we need to get together with the community leaders as well, and we need to get out here and talk to our youth. We need to express. They need the love. They need the hugs. They need the understanding, and they need somebody to listen to them, right? So we need to get them involved in the process as well. We need to communicate with them and make sure that they come up with the plan, because if they feel left out, they're going to what they say, buck against the system as well. So we do have an opportunity to reach out to our youth and get their involvement in changing our community, as well as letting them know who they are, right? And we it's a double-edged sword. Let them know who they are and what is the process of getting back to a civil community.
Well, you know what? This has been a lively discussion. And as we close, I want to thank Dr. Dugule for joining with us today and delivering a very inspiring message on what she's doing and moving forward. I want to thank entrepreneur Kim Latimer, Air Force veteran, I do believe, who has a bed and breakfast right here in Prince George's County. It is immaculate. You got to see it. I can't explain it to you. It's absolutely beautiful. And in closing, I want to say history and civics are very important. Dr. Du Bois said, when we deliberate, a solution is seldom found. However, when you deliberate earnestly, you gain much more ground. And last week we talked about let's come together and let's deliberate so that we can reach a consensus versus collaboration. Because we all have to be on the same page. It's not give and take. We have to be on the same page, and that's when you reach a consensus. I want to thank our producers as well, Kim and Tara, for the outstanding production you put in place. I encourage people to reach out to you. I want to thank our co-host, Mr. John Bailey, for his comments and all he does in our community so that we can live with peace and harmony and love. So with that being said, I wanted to thank everyone for wishing me a happy birthday, which was on the 8th of September. God bless you all. And remember, let's keep talking politics in our community and let's keep sharing our history. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Thank you all.
Indie for your mind, indie for your spirit. It's Wild Radio, so you know you're gonna hear it.